When you really think about it, our feelings are rarely a solo act, right? Whether you're celebrating some amazing news or just venting about a terrible day, our emotions are kind of like a team sport. So let's dive into this, because there is some fascinating science behind how we actually manage our feelings together. We have all been there. You're stressed out of your mind, you pick up the phone, call a friend, and somehow just talking about it makes everything feel a little more manageable. But why? I mean, what's really going on in that conversation that changes how you feel? This isn't just some old saying. It's a huge part of how we're wired emotionally. Well, scientists have a name for this hidden system. They call it Interpersonal Emotion Regulation, or IER for short. The easiest way to think about it is like an invisible operating system that's always running in the background of our social lives. It's constantly helping us process, share, and even tweak our feelings with and through other people. Okay, so to help us get a handle on all this, researchers Zaki and Williams came up with this brilliant map. It breaks down these super complex interactions along two really simple lines, or axes, giving us a clear way to see what's actually happening under the surface. So the first axis is all about focus. Is this about you or is it about them? Intrinsic regulation is when you're using other people to help manage your own feelings. Like calling up a friend to help you calm down before a huge presentation. The whole point is to change how you feel. And the other side of that coin, that's extrinsic regulation. This is where you're the one helping someone else deal with their emotions. Think about giving a coworker a little pep talk or trying to comfort a friend who's upset. Here, the focus is 100% on them. So let's just nail this down. The key difference is direction. Is the emotional heavy lifting pointed inward or outward? Intrinsic is all about me and my feelings. Extrinsic is all about you and your feelings. It's a simple distinction, but it sets the stage for everything else. All right, on to our second axis. This one is all about how much we depend on the other person's reaction. A response-dependent interaction is one where the emotional payoff totally hinges on how the other person responds. So if you tell a joke to try and cheer someone up, it only works if they actually laugh. No laugh, no regulation. Now, on the flip side of that, you've got response-independent regulation. With this one, the act of support itself is what counts. The effect works no matter how the other person specifically reacts. A perfect example is just sitting quietly with a friend who's grieving. Your presence is the point, not what they say or do in return. Let's lock this concept into response-dependent. It needs a specific reaction to succeed. It's kind of like a gamble. But response-independent is different. The gesture, the act of being there, that's the whole point. The action is enough. Okay, and here is where it all comes together and gets really, really cool. When we put these two axes together, intrinsic versus extrinsic and dependent versus independent, what we get is this powerful 4-quadrant map that can basically decode almost all of our social and emotional interactions. And here it is, the whole framework laid out in one simple grid. You can see our two axes creating 4 distinct strategies for how we connect with each other emotionally. So let's break these down one by one. First up, quadrant 1, intrinsic response dependent. This is you trying to manage your own feelings, and you need a specific reaction from someone else to do it. This is that classic I need to talk phone call to a friend where you're looking for their advice or reassurance to feel better. It's an incredibly common way we seek support. Now, this next one is so interesting because it's way more subtle. Quadrant 2 is intrinsic response independent. So you're still working on your own feelings, but you don't actually need a specific response from the other person. Just knowing that someone's in your corner, that they support you, that alone can bring this huge sense of calm. Their quiet presence is the medicine. Okay, let's shift our focus outward now to quadrant 3, extrinsic response dependent. This is where you're actively trying to influence how someone else feels, and you're looking for a specific result. Think about giving a pep talk to a nervous teammate until you see their confidence actually lift. This is that classic fixer mode, which can be great, but it can also backfire if the other person really just wants you to listen. And finally, quadrant 4, extrinsic response independent. Here, you're offering support to someone else, but the act of offering is the entire goal. You're just expressing empathy, you're showing up for them with absolutely no strings attached. This is the beautiful art of holding space for someone, validating their feelings instead of trying to change them. Now, this 2x2 model is an incredibly helpful tool, but it's important to remember what it is. It's a map. It's not the actual territory. The world of human emotion is wonderfully, beautifully complex, and even the researchers behind this will tell you the framework has its limits. For instance, some folks point out that it can sometimes oversimplify things because real conversations can blend multiple strategies at once. It also really focuses on two people interacting, which doesn't always capture what's happening in a family or a work team. And of course, culture plays a massive role in how we express emotion, which a simple model can't fully capture. Still, it's an absolute cornerstone of emotion science because of its clarity. So after all that, why does this map matter? Why should you care? Well, because understanding these dynamics isn't just for scientists. It actually gives you a powerful new lens for seeing your own relationships much more clearly. The biggest takeaway here is that you've basically just been handed a compass for your social world. The next time you're giving or getting support, you can start to notice what's really going on. Are you looking for a specific reply, or is just knowing they're there enough? That awareness, all by itself, can fundamentally change how you connect with people. And that brings me to one last thought for you. As you go about your day, your week, start paying attention. Start noticing these patterns in your own life. When you're talking with friends, family, coworkers, which of these four quadrants do you tend to live in the most? The answer might really surprise you.